Now, we had casual day at our company. You guys do casual day sometimes in the hospital? Yeah, casual. That's like a scary day. You seen some of the costumes your coworkers whip up? They call it Casual Friday because Halloween was taken. Some of these people knocked on my office door. I didn't know whether to talk with them or give them candy. Yeah, spandex only stretches so far, people. Those of you not laughing, you were the offenders right there. They had to move Casual Friday earlier in the week, call it White Trash Wednesday. I am full of ideas tonight, aren't I?
Sometimes people shape your career and they don't even know it. Yeah, that was the case with comedian Jonathan Katz. I don't know him, but he used to have a great cartoon on TV. It was him as a therapist, and his clients were comedians. The comics would sit on his couch like in a therapy session and do one of their bits. It was just brilliant. My friend Rob worked with Jonathan one weekend, and Rob asked him about his show and if he had any advice for us new comics. Jonathan said that the show was his own idea and that his only advice was to, quote, create your own projects. Come up with things you want to do in comedy and then, do them. Those 4 words just about became Rob and Mai's motto. Create your own projects. Don't wait for others to come up with ideas for you. Rob and I followed his advice and created a few projects of our own. We put together some comedy shows to tape ourselves instead of waiting to get booked on big shows. We also mailed our tapes out to various TV shows. Some were comedy, some were other ideas we had, in the hopes of getting on something. Though we never got any TV out of it, the shows that we put together went great, and creating our own projects was really fun. When I was leaving my marketing job and going into comedy full-time, Rob told me that his only concern for me was that I'd stop coming up with project ideas and instead I'd just get into the grind of trying to get the next gig to pay my bills. That really stuck with me, and so I've tried to come up with other ideas, either by myself or with other comics. Now, some of these ideas were big ideas, what people call swinging for the fence, trying to get a home run, and some of them were smaller ideas. And some have hit, and some have gone down in flames, but I've always enjoyed working on them. A couple of the projects I worked on, years ago I developed a character, the Work Lady, who gave out weekly advice for surviving work. It was geared for radio stations, and I got it on a few stations, but it never really took off. I've also worked on a few ideas for comedy shows with other comics. One was a woman's show that didn't really go anywhere, and one was our fun showcase in LA with my friend Michael, and we put together at Michelli's. I spoke about it in an earlier episode, and we really had a great run for several years. And now I'm performing in the Baby Boomer Comedy Show in theaters with another comic, Kent Rader, and that's done pretty good. I've also written a couple books that have done well. One is on writing humor. It's called Finding the Funny Fast. And one is on stories from the road called Convention Comedian. It's sort of the basis of this podcast. I've also been a Hillary Clinton impersonator. Both times she ran. Yeah, I got some great gigs, but I was really hoping to pay off my mortgage with that one. That didn't happen. And I've worked on some script ideas by myself and with other comics. So far, nothing's really been picked up. Yet. This podcast is another one of my projects. I don't have millions of listeners yet, but I wanted to tell stories and talk about what I've learned from my comedy career. So I created a podcast, and I really enjoy doing it. And finally, this week, I just started doing flash briefings on Alexa. These are even shorter bits than my podcast, like 1 to 2 minute updates each day, and they're just tips about how to do things. The theme this week for my first episodes are on introductions, how to get and give good ones. My briefing is titled Finding the Funny, and you can find it in the Alexa skills area or just go to Amazon and search for Finding the Funny skill. It should come up. In the past 25 years, I've worked really hard on my career, but also tried to have a lot of fun along the way by doing things that interest me, even though they may not be commercially successful. I'm not trying to drain my bank account, but I became a comedian because I wanted to create. And so what's the point in pursuing my passion if I'm going to limit my creativity? And so you can guess my takeaway tip this week is to create your own projects. Stop waiting for someone to come to you with ideas. Sure, that happens for some people, but in the meantime, branch out and do some things that you really want to do. I end these podcasts by saying, enjoy your journey, because I really mean it. Have fun in life. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Feel free to check out my website, theworklady.com. This is Jan. Take care and enjoy your journey.